In the past few years, I've had the privilege of conducting a number of CMO searches for companies ranging in size from 50 million to 1 billion plus. Over my executive search career, senior marketing searches have been a clear emphasis of mine, and each marketing search has not only been an opportunity to spend time with some of the premier marketers out there, but also to really deepen my understanding of the differences between functional, tactical, and strategic marketing. No matter how many individuals I've interviewed, and irrespective of their grounding and experience in one industry or market segment versus another, it still amazes me that true strategic marketing executives are by far in the minority. Look, don't get me wrong here. I know that many individuals, regardless of whether they have a title of CMO, SVP, or VP of marketing, they are the senior most marketing executives in their respective companies. However, over my 27 years of my career, which I've recruited, spoken with, and interviewed hundreds of CMOs, and in the recent experience of conducting several CMO searches, I would categorize that most of these individuals are either strong functional marketing executives or they're tactical CMOs. They are not strategic CMOs. To clarify, a strong functional marketing executive has deep expertise and a more singular focus in one of the sub-disciplines of marketing. Marketing communications, analyst relationships, lead generation, online marketing, product marketing, or the more creative side in terms of managing agency relationships and creating content. Even if someone has responsibilities extending across several of these sub-disciplines, a strong functional marketing executive thinks about and manages the breadth of their duties predominantly through the lens and experience of their specific specialization. In my experience, close to half of the marketing executives out there fit this description. A tactical CMO is someone who, while having more of a broad-based focus and an experience set that clearly encompasses managing several to all of these sub-functional areas of marketing, still approaches their duties and enactment of their responsibilities not from a strategic perspective. They approach it from a tactical perspective. They're at the best highly efficient and creative order takers. What I mean by this is that they generally have a holistic view of marketing because they're managing a variety of different sub-specializations of marketing, but they look at their job as taking a given strategy and positioning and then figuring out how to best communicate that. So how to develop the right content and messaging, and depending upon overall company strategy and size, create and manage distribution of that messaging to either the broadest or the targeted audience as possible. Now, a tactical CMO also is focused on measuring the results of what they do accordingly. So there's someone who clearly understands the reality that today marketing is no longer a black box, and that the impact to all marketing activities can directly be measured, and that part of their role of a CMO is to drive activities that to the greatest degree possible can be measured, as opposed to driving activities that cannot. And then to use the tracking and management of the results of their activities to make adjustments as necessary. So that description, by the way, fits the bill of how many companies look at what they want from marketing. And that is still not the description of a strategic CMO. In my experience, this description represents about half of the marketing executives that are out there. So, what is a strategic CMO? A strategic CMO is someone who doesn't view their job as just the tactical execution of a given and preformed strategy and positioning, no matter how developed and time-tested that strategy and positioning may be. A strategic CMO believes that in order to put in place marketing activities that can, as directly as possible, measure and be attributed to driving growth, their job starts first and foremost with developing a more refined understanding of the value that their company is delivering. And then by driving the process to understand that value, a strategic CMO makes discoveries that clarify how to more powerfully and better communicate about this core value proposition. Now, certainly major proof points in this discovery process are for the CMO to develop an understanding of the CEO's and the senior leadership team's vision and their view of the impact and value being delivered to their customers. Additional major proof points then lie in better understanding current customer usage and perception of the value that those customers are receiving. And then there's other proof points that extend outside a company's specific products or services, and they really are derived from a CMO understanding the broader cultural context, trends, the conditions, the forces at play that are really changing and evolving how people think about what they do and change what they're actually doing today. By developing these various proof points, a strategic CMO is able to refine a more powerful value proposition, and that resonates far more strongly across all areas and hierarchies internally within a company and also externally in the marketplace. The messaging and content then that embody this value proposition that a CMO creates are foundational expressions of a company's brand. And a powerful brand is created when this value proposition and messaging are so well understood internally that no matter what touch point occurs, regardless of department, function, or hierarchy, that value proposition and messaging is expressed. Now, to be fair, I understand that a strategic CMO doesn't exist in a vacuum by himself or herself. In other words, a strategic CMO's existence is largely dependent upon a company's CEO and senior leadership team buying into the concept and description of a strategic CMO. And when that occurs, a CMO is viewed as an important voice in the strategic conversation, as someone who can meaningfully contribute to the development of a unique and differentiated value proposition for that company. And I know fully well from my own experience that there are numerous CEOs who don't do this. And these CEOs believe that their insight is the only perspective that matters about their company's unique value proposition, regardless whether or not their functional area of strength is marketing, and regardless of the proof points that may be presented to them as a result of the strategic discovery process that is led by that CMO. And just as there are more functional marketing executives and tactical CMOs out there, there are far more companies, CEOs, and senior leadership teams who, no matter what they say about marketing, continue to take actions that underscore the reality that really all they're interested in is a tactical CMO. These executives aren't interested in a contribution that differs from or raises doubts or questions their fundamental views. And unfortunately, this condition is quite often found in the technology sector, where there are numerous technologist founders / CEOs, and a certain percentage of companies that, even if they're run by non-technology founder CEOs, those companies have historically focused on selling their capabilities into the IT function, into the CIO suite. And for years, marketing was understood as being the most accurate articulation of speeds and feeds. Needless to say, if you are a strategic CMO who continues to be employed at a company where your strategic input is minimized to negated, and you're forced to play the role of a tactical CMO, then a whole different set of questions are raised in assessing your capabilities as a candidate. And in my experience, it is only a very small percentage of marketing executives out there that fit this description of a strategic CMO. Now, practically, the reasons why there aren't more strategic marketing executives would appear then to lie somewhat equally with CMOs who, even though they know better, even who they understand what it takes to be a strategic CMO, they accept their role as tactical executors for a whole variety of different reasons. They do what it takes to keep their job, and they don't rock the boat. And then also it lies with CEOs and senior leadership teams who, even though they may say differently, all they really want is a tactical CMO. Whatever the reasons, the bottom line is that the potential candidate universe still looks to me like 45% or more of CMOs are really functional marketing executives in one area of specialization and focus, that 45% or more are tactical CMOs who don't really understand that the most powerful expression of their role is when they do elevate their job to a strategic level. And then some percentage of those tactical CMOs are strategically minded CMOs who've accepted their lot and decided they're just doing their job and this is how it is. That equates to probably 7% of the marketing executives out there who truly are strategic CMOs. It reminds me of almost a riff of the old Pete Seeger song. Where have all the strategic marketing executives gone? Long time passing. Where have all the strategic marketing executives gone? Did more exist? Where have all the strategic marketing executives gone? What are the reasons they're not here? Oh, will we ever learn? Oh, will we ever learn?